So today we will discuss about UML object diagram. UML object diagram actually shows you how objects in your system are interacting with each other at a particular time or at a particular state. It also represents the data values of those objects at that moment or at that state. So you can think object diagram as a snapshot of your system at a particular moment. So at that moment, what's the data values of your objects, what's the state of your objects. So the object diagram will show you a snapshot of your system at a given time or at a particular time. So you might confuse object diagram with class diagram. So object diagram is not actually class diagram. They have a relation. A UML object diagram is a representation of how classes are utilized at a particular state. So there is a relation. UML object diagram is actually dependent on the class diagram, but it's not equal to class diagram. Object diagram is derived from the class diagram. Class diagram actually represents an abstract model consists of classes and their relationships, and in object diagram it represents an instance of that classes at a particular moment. So that's why class diagram and object diagram has a distinct difference between them. They are not equal, or in other words we can say class diagram is summary of all possible object diagrams. So the notation, the object is represented in almost in the same way as class. It's divided into two parts. The top section contains the name, and you can define the name as object name class name or object name class name, and also you can add the package name. And if it's an anonymous object, then you can simply keep the class name as the object name. But the important thing here is you have to underline the name. You will draw an underline in the object name. So that's a notation. And also there is two sections. So the top section will contain the name, and the later section, the second section, will contain the values of the attributes at that particular state. Okay, so this is our notation. So this is a notation of a object. So remember in the previous class we talked about a circle class. So in that circle class, if you create an object, suppose we have created object C1. So C1 circle is the object name and we have underlined it. Okay, so this is the top section, and the next section or bottom section will contain the attribute values. So we had three attributes, x coordinate, y coordinate, and radius. So if we assign x coordinate, the center of the x coordinate at 2, and the center of the y coordinate, suppose we have assigned 3, and we have assigned the radius as 5. So these values is representing a state. You can change it also. You can change the radius to 10 also. So this is showing your object at a particular state. The class is the circle class, and in that circle class you have created an object C1, and at a particular moment this is the object notation at that moment. So a UML object diagram consists of two elements. It simply consists of two elements. One of them is object and the other is link. We have already seen the notation of object, and a link is just a line. It's just a connection between different objects. So UML object diagram is simpler than the class diagram. It's containing only objects and links. So I have already told you that UML object diagram is an instance of a class diagram. So if we are talking about a particular system, and if we are considering object diagrams, then we can have unlimited number of instances. Okay, and all those number of instances will be unique in nature. So if we want to pick a single object diagram, then it cannot capture all the necessary instances, or it cannot specify all the objects of a system, right? You could have numerous number of objects, and those are unique characteristic or unique at that time. So you have to consider all those different objects to specify the whole system. Okay, so that's why if you think about drawing an object diagram, at first you have to analyze the system and decide which instances have important data and association, and then you will consider only those important instances. And also, when you are picking objects, you have to think about functionality, whether considering those objects will cover all the functionalities of your system. So that's second consideration. And then lastly, what you can do some optimization for better understanding. Like you will do some optimization so that you don't have to draw a lot of object diagrams. You can minimize the number of object diagrams. So now I will show you a object diagram of an order management system. But as I told you that object diagram depends on the class diagram. That means we derive object diagram from class diagram. So that's why at first I will show you the class diagram, and then I will show you the object diagram of that class diagram. So it's a class diagram of an order management system. So in order management system, if you want to draw it simply, so the first thing, you will have two classes, that is customer and order, right? And you will define those two classes, you will write the functions, the attributes, and then a customer can have many orders, right? So that's why it will be one to many relationship. Okay, and it's an association, it's a one to many relationship. And then you can also define two subclasses of an order, that is a special order, a normal order. Okay, and these two subclasses will inherit some functions from the superclass. The superclass is the order, and the special order and normal order are subclasses. So the relationship between them is inheritance relationship. So that means it's a generalization relationship. So this is a class diagram of an order management system. Okay, and if I want to draw the object diagram of that order management system at a particular state, okay, at a particular moment. So suppose I have drawn this object diagram of that class diagram at a particular moment. So I had a class customer. Suppose I created an object of that class C. Okay, so the customer class has an object C. So I have created the object C. Now that customer C has three orders. Suppose the customer C has three orders: order 1, order 2, order 3. These are the objects of that class order. You had two classes. First one was class customer, and the next one was class order. And you had two more classes, that was special order and normal order. So now I have created an object of the customer class C, and that customer had three orders. So I have created three objects of order class: object O1, O2, O3. These three are objects of the class order. So suppose the number of order O1 is 12, the number of order O2 is 32, and the number of order O3 is 40 at that moment. Okay, so if the customer want, he can also increase the number of orders at a later time. Then the object diagram will be changed. But the particular moment I am considering here, these 12, 32, 40 are the values at that particular moment. So this is also true for other orders. So suppose I'm thinking that order O1 is a special order. So we had a class special order, and if I have create a object of that special order class, suppose I have created S1. S1 is a object of the class special order, and the number here is 20. And suppose also you have created another object of special order class, so that's S2, and the number of S2 is 30. And we had another class that was normal order. So suppose I have created a class a object of that class N1. So N1 is the object of class normal order, and the moment I am considering here, at that moment the order number of N1 is 60. So this is the total scenario of the object diagram at that particular moment. So if you consider a different time of purchase, and then the values of these objects will be changed accordingly. Okay, so this is the object diagram, and it simply consists of two elements. One of them is objects, and the other thing is link between those objects. Just want to mention one thing here. See here, they don't underline the name of the object. Okay, that's also fine. That's also one more notation. You can underline it or you can just leave it as it is, but the important thing here is they associate the object with the class name. Okay, but if you don't have any object, if it's an anonymous object, then you can just simply leave the class name as the object name, and at that time it's better to underline to specify that this is an object. Okay, so that's a simple object diagram of an order management system.